A lessor is a property owner who rents their property to a tenant, while a lessee is a tenant who pays to rent the property. Real estate professionals must learn the difference between these two important terms, along with their relationship with each other for the real estate exam. Hello everybody, it's Zach here from realestatelicensewizard.com. Today we're talking about lessee versus lessor. Let's get started. So what is a lessor? Well, a lessor is a property owner who agrees to lease out their property to an individual, family, or business for a specific period of time. Lessors can be either individuals or business entities. In any case, the lessor is the legal owner of the property. Now, what is a lessee? Well, a lessee is an individual, family, or business who rents property from a lessor. Lessees, often referred to as tenants, can live or use the property as long as they abide by the terms of the lease agreement. Now, lessees make a one-time payment or periodic lease payments to continue occupying the rented space. Now, let's go over some specific examples between the differences between the two. Obviously, compensation is part of it. A lessor receives, whatever the lease specified in terms of amount for renting out that property, while a lessee can occupy the property in exchange for making rent payments. And then obviously there's responsibilities for maintenance and utilities. Depending on the contract, they could fall on the tenant or the lessee or the lessor. And then obviously, again, the possession of the property. At the end of the day, the lessee is the one physically possessing the property during the duration of the lease. The lessor is not. So this is all outlined in something called a lease agreement, and I'll put this on the screen. Basically, a lease agreement should cover the following information: the name of every tenant living on the property, the term of the lease, any limits to the lease, the costs and rent and payment schedule, deposits, fees, rules about any pets, things like that, and any other restrictions. Now, you might be watching this video and think, okay, Zach, this is pretty simple. I'm not going to get this mixed up. But you'd be surprised when your test comes up and, pressure's on the line. Sometimes people get these two terms mixed up. So I'm going to put this list of words on the screen. You'll be able to see them. And essentially, they are two different versions of the same part of the word, but it's actually a different word. And that's because of the relationship. So the OR in these words on the left are the givers, and the EE on the words on the right are the receivers. And that's how you need to remember, really the difference between these terms. And this is kind of like the whole purpose of the video, is to explain that relationship. Because if you see words like mortgagee, offeree, or like in our case, leasee, they are receiving, purchasing, or acquiring something. Whereas the ORs is the opposite. They are either selling it or granting it or, trusting it or whatever it might be. So really that's the relationship between those two terms. And the best way that I really think about it is just, again, the OR is the giver and the EE is the receiver. If you can remember that, all these terms are going to be super easy for you to understand and digest. And when it comes time for your exam, you will not be confused. So what do you need to know for the real estate exam? Well, a lessor is the owner who rents their property out to tenants, while a lessee is a tenant who signs a lease to occupy the property. The best way to remember this is utilizing that EEOR rule or the OREE rule. Remember, if you see the OR, that is the giver, and the EE is the receiver. So in our case with the lessor, they're giving the right to use or to have somebody to come in and live in that property, while the lessee is receiving that right. They're receiving it. They're receiving that right to habit that property. If you can remember that, you'll be good to go exam day, and that's pretty much it. For more videos on leases, lease agreements, things like that in that nature, click the video here and click here to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, see ya. Bye-bye.